for joining me. It is Wednesday, which of course we know means food for thought, life lessons from my vegan kitchen. I'm Elysabeth Alfano. So glad that you are here with me. I have such exciting news. Of course, animal lovers, you all know this, that the California Senate passed AB 485, which means that starting January 1st of 2019, pet stores can no longer sell any animal, well, basically any dog, cat, or rabbit that is not from a shelter or a government animal control agency. This is really intended to be the end of puppy mills in California as we know it. So rockstar you, way to go, California. Love what you're doing. It's now going from the Senate to the governor, and we are so gonna show him that puppy mills are done. And we're serious, and we're not taking this crap anymore. So well done you, really happy California, just way to go. So very proud of you. So today, episode 12, we're already on episode 12. Episode 12, I've got the really personal life lesson, which is the bingo effect. And that is a phrase I have coined myself, and I've been relying on this expression for years now, ever since I met Steve Irwin. We all remember him, the Crocodile Hunter. So whom I love, still love to this day, and still very sad about his passing to this day. So I'm going to talk about the bingo effect and what that means for you in your life in just a second. But first, we are getting to some vegan ice cream. That's right, people. We're talking vegan ice cream today, and just how easy it is to make vegan ice cream. So this is what I do. So you know me. I'm not doing a lot of stuff. I want it to be super easy, and that's just how I roll. So this is what I do is I take, because you know how much I love it, I take coconut milk, yum, and everything's just gonna go into my handy dandy Cuisinart. But you can easily do this in a blender, so you don't have to have something fancy or whatever. And by the way, this is not fancy, because I went on Amazon and I got the refurbished Cuisinart, and I think it was like $59. So don't get the $480 thingamajig. Get the refurbished one. Anyways, it works for me. I mean, I don't use it that often, you know, so I don't really like overdo it. So it does fine. Anyway, so everything's going into my Cuisinart, and I start, as I say, with my coconut milk, and then I take, so it depends on how much, it can make like 4 or 5 servings of ice cream. So if you want the whole can of coconut milk, then I do 2 really huge tablespoons of peanut butter. And then I always do the just peanuts and salt. So none of this like skippy stuff, trans fat, bologna. No, I just do like the good stuff, and I like it with nuts, so I do crunchy. And then I take dates. I live next to Costco, people, can you tell? So I buy dates in huge quantities. I take dates and I chop them up, throw them in. Oh, shoot, I forgot to tell you also, I'm way into chia seeds. This is a new thing for me. Again, I live by Costco. You can look at the enormous size of this bag. So I throw in, for an entire can of coconut milk, I throw in 2 huge tablespoons of chia seeds, and they get they stay crunchy, but they also get kind of gelatinous, which I like. So it just adds a different texture. Every time I do anything in life, I add unsweetened coconut flakes. And then the key to this whole thing is, hopefully you can see it through my handy plastic bag here. This is frozen banana. So frozen banana is really the key to so much of what I do. Well, bananas are baking, they're also in my ice cream, and I just use them for so much stuff. So here, frozen bananas, and again, we talked about this last week, you want bananas that are sickeningly brown. They're so ripe, they're almost gelatinous, and you're thinking like, ew, this is gross, it's dripping. But those are really the ones that have the most natural sugar. So that's really what you want. And then you turn on your blender, and you scoop it out, put it in the freezer, and then you see my ice cream? Okay, this has been, oh yeah, people, oh yeah. Can you see the dates in there? So, real good. Now, if you like yours really sweet, because again, if you're gonna get that brown banana, it's gonna be sweet on its own, but if you like yours really sweet, of course, throw in some maple syrup, but you don't even need it. And for those of you who just don't believe that it's possible that you can have vegan ice cream, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. And for those of you that have a sweet tooth like me, yum. All right, vegan ice cream, you got that under your belt. All right, so today's life lesson. I just was reminded of this last night, and I'm just so happy about it. A girlfriend came to me, and she is a camera operator and she was experiencing the bingo effect. And that is when your passion meets your skill set. Bingo. And you're like 150% of yourself. You're bigger than you'd ever thought you'd be. The impact you can make on others and your own life and the world is larger and more extensive than you ever thought. You feel so powerful, just like a superhero that can take on the world because you know you are in your right space. You've got the skills and the passion and love to just make something explode. So she came to me, she's a camera operator. By the way, how cool is that? So this chick's really got it going on. April, I love you. So she's a camera operator, and she's working in LA on a show, which is great, and she's employed, and she loves what she does, and it's wonderful. But she's always been a geek science nerd. And she was recently asked to film a very special show about Jupiter and Saturn and science and NASA, and it's just very exciting for her. And she came back last night. I was walking my dog and I saw her, and she was almost teary-eyed about the fact that it was such a privilege and such a joy to be able to work in that sweet spot. And it was so invigorating for her to think, what am I really doing with my life? Now that I know how good it feels to really nail this bingo effect, here's the sweet spot, here's where I want to stay, and just how much can I do with my life, and how exciting it still is for her to think about all that she can really do now that she knows that this is where she's meant to be. And how good does that feel? So I remember when I felt this for the very first time. I had just stopped my art gallery, and I was thinking, what am I going to do with my career? I'm just not sure. I'm going to take some improv classes on the side to help get the creative juices flowing. And I saw online that Animal Planet, so one of my 3 loves, so the creative process, animals, and anything that can be inspirational or helpful for other people. So you can see I'm already working in that sweet spot. But certainly animals are one of my major, major loves. And I saw that the Animal Planet had a new television show that they were auditioning for with Steve Irwin, and he is the Crocodile Hunter who passed away several years ago. But at the time, he was working on a new show, and here I had no acting experience. I had nothing to do with Hollywood. I'd never been involved with anything except just some side improv classes just for the heck of it. And I decided to tape myself a sizzle reel, which is crazy because I didn't even know what a sizzle reel was. It was so like homeschool, like back in the day. And I got on a plane. Auditions were being held 2 days later in New York. I got on a plane. I think I price lined the plane, and I price lined a hotel room. And I was like, this is crazy. What am I doing? And I went to the audition, and I was so nervous. I got up early, and I remember I was in the taxi on my way to the address. And I was like, wow, it's only 5 in the morning. And I'm a late sleeper, but I was so excited. I was like, wow, it's 5 in the morning. The sun must be coming up. It wasn't the sun. It was all the lights of Times Square. And it hit me, oh my God, I'm auditioning for a television show. Me, who has no experience here in Times Square. And I got there, and I was the first one in line, and they took my audition. And I think he kind of remembered the first person and the last person and anyone in between who's good. And I did my audition tape with the director of all of Steve Irwin's movies that he'd ever done. And we really hit it off, and he asked me to audition again, which was great. And then he asked me to stick around. And at the end of everyone auditioning, and it went from maybe 7 a.m. to 11, Steve Irwin came, and he talked to all of us in this large room theater. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he points to me in a room of maybe 600 people, and he says, why don't you come up on stage with me? And he takes a 60-pound yellow boa, and he wraps it around my neck, and he starts talking about this snake and what they do and their habitat. And I remember thinking on stage with all the lights, and he was interviewing me about how I felt having the snake on me, and I felt great because I love all animals. I swear I would live with a Komodo dragon if I thought it was going to work out for me. He asked me how I was feeling about it. He talked to everybody about the snake and teaching people about this snake. And I remember being on stage with all the lights and talking to Steve Irwin and holding this snake and just thinking like, it'll never be this great again. And then they made me sign all these releases, and they used that video, and I was the poster child for this new pilot television show that they were going to do. And then sadly, the whole show got canceled. Very disappointing that it ended that way, but it was such a wonderful experience, and I've never forgotten. And I remember coming out of that thinking, I'm going to change my whole career. So here I had left the art gallery world, and I wasn't sure what to do. And from that moment on, I said, all right, I'm going into TV, which is a crazy thought because I didn't study it in college. Thought I'm going into TV, and it's going to be in the art world, in the inspirational world, or the animal world, or ideally all three, which is kind of what we're doing here today. So for all of you out there who maybe you're not liking your job and every day is like lifting heavy furniture, that shit has to stop, people, because life is short. And so if you don't love what you do, you got to find a way to get to what you love. And once you're in that bingo effect, people, where your passion meets your skill set, anything is possible. So I want to leave you with that thought and vegan ice cream and tell you how much I love you and how much I'm glad that you're here with me. And thanks for watching, peeps. And I'm going to take another bite here. And make this thing, because it's super easy to make. And don't forget to be vegan. Bye, peeps.